Guys, this is Ronnie. Welcome back to our channel Total Technology. This is tutorial 107 and today's topic will be how to update an existing node using Fast API from Python. So when you talk about update a node within your Neo4j graph, so that could be maybe updating or setting a new properties. But for this tutorial, probably we'll be going to let's say change some properties. Like for example, in the last tutorial, which was tutorial 106, in that tutorial we have created a node with name and employee ID. So let's say in this tutorial we'll be going to search the user with that name, specific name. If we found something, then we'll change the name. So this is the use case. So this is going to be very small, and maybe some of you are already familiar with Neo4j and other API backends and other things. For them would be kind of silly, but again, as I told earlier, that a lot of new viewers or students actually requested me to try to integrate this Fast API kind of a thing very slowly with Neo4j and try to touch base with all the use cases, like simple or like complex, doesn't matter, but they should get some idea. So that is why I'm actually picking up very small or very fundamental use cases at the beginning, so that you guys will you guys actually can develop the intuition towards how actually Fast API will work with Neo4j. Okay, so that will be easier. So there is a mistake actually. So this is going to be tutorial 107, but I have mistakenly used 106. So that is why I should not do copy paste, because I actually took the title from the previous slide. Okay, let me go ahead to the next slide, which is this one, prerequisite. Again, there are 4 or 5 things are required. First of all, you definitely need an internet connection, or else you'll not be able to download Python. So Python has to be 3.6 or greater than. Then you have to install Fast API, then you have to install UVCon, and also you have to install Neo4j Python driver. And one more thing, as I said, like you need 5 things. So one thing is not mentioned over here. The other thing is that either you can use Neo4j a cloud instance, or you can have a Neo4j desktop running on your local machine, and that you can use. So in this tutorial, actually I've been actually using local instance of Neo4j by running a Neo4j desktop from the Neo4j desktop application. Okay, so you can use the same thing. Okay, so next thing, again the same thing, simple REST API, REST endpoint using Fast API to update existing node in Neo4j. So that is the fundamental use case. So nothing to actually explain, or nothing hard code or kind of a hardcore theoretical concept over here. So just follow along with me and just try to understand the code, and hopefully those are already watched the last 2 tutorials on Fast API with Neo4j. For them it will be quite easy actually, because I'm not going to do anything fancy over here. So I'll be just going to update an existing property, that's it. Okay, so let me minimize this thing, or maybe like this, and after that let me open this thing. So I have already created a folder, tutorial 106 and 107. I have a main.py. So what I'll do now, I have to create a .env file. Okay, so maybe let me create a env file. So env file is already here, but I need to get the values from my previous env file. So these are the things, just hold on. Okay, so env file is required to actually establish the connection. So for Neo4j, in Neo4j, within Neo4j, to establish the connection, you need this thing, URI, user, and password. So same thing I'm actually putting in my environment, and then I will going to write a code from this main.py. Okay, so I think this is fine. So let me just a bit maximize this thing. Okay, so that will be easier for all of you guys to understand. Okay, now I'll start writing the code. Okay, so first thing first, actually I can copy paste this thing from the last tutorial, but again for the sake of understanding, so let me just write down the code. But maybe from upcoming videos I can just copy or skip this part. Okay, then from Neo4j import graph database, we need to import I think UVCon is not importing required, but you can import OS. This is done. Okay, then probably we can import from I'm just thinking from .env. Yes, like for import load.env. Okay, So all done. So 1 2 3 4. Okay, let's try to first try to read the environment file. So for that load.env. So this is done. Okay, then probably we need three things like URI, user, and password. Okay, so URI is going to be os dot getenv, right? And that should be the URI from the file, right? Here it will be os dot getenv, right? And this will be the user. Okay, okay, so next thing will be os dot getenv, and it should be the password. Okay, so these things are done. So let me just check actually whether these things are working fine or not. So let me just run this thing just to check URI, user, and password. Okay, then maybe I can write cd tutorial 107, then maybe I can run python 3 main.py. If everything is working fine, I will get this values here. Yes, all are fine. So until this point my code and everything is working. Sometimes it does like throw some error as well, so that is why I always do this thing. Okay, so now next thing is that we'll be going to create a first API endpoint. First maybe I can write this app instance of an app. Let me just create first like this. Okay, then maybe I can write app dot put. This is going to be a put endpoint because I'll be going to update something, so maybe update. Okay, then maybe def update, then I'll be going to use something over here. Okay, so what I'll be going to use that is not clear at this moment. Okay, so let me explain this thing now, what actually I'm trying to do. Okay, so maybe I can write a return statement so that I should not get an error right now. Okay, fine. So let me just give you guys some sort of idea. Maybe okay, Neo4j desktop. Yes, so maybe you can write match n, or maybe I can just remove this thing. Maybe I can write starting from here open. Okay, my Neo4j browser is getting started, so let me first check what is available in my match n return n. Okay, so if you see here, I have Rahul and I have Ronnie, and it has name and employee ID, name and employee ID. So probably I will go and check that if someone's name name is Rahul Kumar Roy, so probably I would like to change the name, or maybe I would like to change the employee ID. We'll see whatever the thing. So first it will go and search this thing, and after that it will change this remaining properties. Okay, so that is what actually I'm trying to do. Okay, so for that thing definitely we need to search something by passing something over here, so that will be come from the query parameter. So let's say one of the parameter will be input name, right? And if you guys remember, in the last tutorial we did something this thing, the like some data has to be passed, like the body request body has to be sent. So send the request body, you should use this name and employee ID. Definitely, as we are going to update these values, we have to send this thing, and that will come from the Pydantic models. Okay, so maybe I can write something like that, node equal node, and this is a type of Pydantic model, right? And that Pydantic model will be, let's say, node model. Actually I don't know. Oh, actually I didn't actually mention this thing, so maybe I can write something here. So class node model, something like this. Class model and base model. Oh, sorry, I did a mistake. Okay, so here, and this is like this, and there probably I can write name equals to str and emp underscore id equals to int, and I don't think this requires any comma, so all are fine. So now problem is that I have to mention something base model, so that will come from here, from Pydantic import base model, and that I should use over here base model, node model, and okay, so that node model is coming. So what I'm doing, I'm actually using this node model, actually the body for body, and this will be going from the query. Okay, so now I have to generate the connection, or maybe driver object. I have to get the driver object. For that, probably I can create something like that, def connection function. Okay, and that will be kind of a driver equals to graph database dot driver, and after that maybe I can write URI equals to URI. This URI is URI, then auth equals to something like this, then it should be user, and this should be password from this line actually. Okay, done. Then probably I can write return driver. That's it, that's all. Maybe you should not use this, is also fine. Okay, now this is done, so I have to actually generate the Neo4j driver. Okay, so maybe I can write driver underscore Neo4j, and that should be coming from here actually, connection. So I have to call that function connection. Okay, once this is done, so maybe I can create a session object, driver Neo4j dot session. So our session is here, that's it. Now we'll go and write the query. So query will first search something, and after that it will do something. Okay, so something like this. Okay, and then probably like this. So now the actual thing will start, match in, and maybe the type is, if I'm not wrong, it is employee actually. Yes, emplo emplo y. Okay, maybe I can write emplo y employee. Okay, so I'll be going to search this thing employee. Okay, then the name of the employee, that should come from this input name. Okay, so maybe I can write input name, right? Okay, if actually match clause finds something, then it will set something. Okay, then set n dot name actually, and that will come from this thing. Okay, so maybe that is dollar of name. Okay, and also we would like to set the employee ID as well. Okay, so let me search something, n dot emp underscore id equals to dollar of emp underscore id. Okay, then I will return same as it is, return n dot name as name. So what I'm doing, I'm finding with this input name is going to be sent from the query parameter from the API, but we cannot test this in the browser because we are sending this body. Okay, request body. So that for that reason, either you have to use some like API testing tools like Postman, or maybe you can use simple curl from the command prompt, or maybe you can use the Swagger from the fast API. Okay, so it will go and first this name, if match found, then it will set the name with this and employ this thing, and that will come from this thing, and then actually this thing will be available here in your request body. Okay, so my query is done. Now what I am actually trying to do from the query, actually I will run this thing now. Okay, so this should be results equals to session dot run, then q1. Okay, but if you watch closely, it has some variables. So what will happen here, I have to create some dictionary, right? So we have three variables. So first is input name, and that will come from this input name. Okay, my second variable is this name. Okay, so maybe I can write name, and that will come from here. Here actually this node, so node dot name from the body, actually node dot name. Okay, and the last thing will be my employee underscore id, means this one. So this is also coming from here, so it should be node dot employee id. Okay, so this is done, this is done, this is done. Okay, now we got our results sets over here. So now we'll try to make it in the form of list actually. So maybe data equals to something like this. Okay, so maybe name equals name, not name, name is equal to this row of name. Name means we only passing name, so maybe name. Okay, and then you can write for row in results. Okay, done. Now we'll check. For example, there is a corner case. If we found the match, it will do something and it will return this thing. But if it did not find anything, this query or this result set won't return anything. So that time this list will not contain any value. So we can write something, if something length of data greater than 0, then we'll respond with some return and proper value. Okay, then it should be data equals to data of 0. Data of 0 means this thing, and it is a dictionary, so we can write something name, so we'll get only the string value of the name. Okay, and in the return we'll return this thing. So return response. Okay, and we'll do something. Okay, so maybe you can write node updated with new name, and there probably I can write something data. Okay, hopefully you guys got the thing now. And if else means if the list is not like this, then probably I can write else return response your input name is not found in the graph, something like this. Okay, that's it. Within 30 or 40 lines of code, I believe 38 lines of code, we did so many things. There is no point of this return now. Okay, so that's it. So first we search, then we created the result set, then we are creating a list, and if the list count is length is greater than 0, definitely we found something. If not, like this. So it makes sense actually to like this. So maybe I can do some. Okay, so all done. That's it. So hopefully what will happen now, let me just first run this thing. Okay, so coding is completed, so let me just execute this one. So uv con main app hyphen port, let me write it 8080, and after that maybe I can write reload. Okay, before I do something, let me check everything. Okay, looks fine. It's okay. I did a mistake here, so it should be at the rate. So this is a decorated function, this line number 23, so that is why it is always like this. Okay, so let's run this thing now. Okay, so this is running. Okay, so hopefully I can open something localhost. Okay, to write something docs. Let's see. Okay, so if you see, I got this thing put, and my method name is update, all are here, right? Put method name update, all are here. So let me just click on this thing. So if you click on this thing, it will give me the input name, which is a kind of a query parameter. Let's see, it is a query. and if request body is something like that. Okay, so let's try out this thing. So try out. So input, let me open this thing. Maybe in the input I can route Rahul Kumar Roy. Maybe I can write something like this. Okay, something like this. And request body, maybe I would like to change the name of Rahul. Maybe I can write something Rahul, something like this. I would like to change his like capital case to like this. And maybe I can set the employee ID to maybe something like this, like 991919. So if you say here right now its employee ID is this and name is this. So if you change this thing, hopefully everything will be okay and we'll get some response. Okay, let me just execute this thing now, make it a bigger. Okay, let's see execute. So it is executing. See, so I got some internal server error. Okay, so maybe that error will be visible here. Maybe we'll see. Message expected parameter input name. So what happened, let me check. This is saying some error actually. Okay, fetch failure. Okay, new project client error, new client error message expected parameters input name employee ID. What it is saying, expected parameter is this update. Okay, I am not sure. I didn't make a mistake here. Everything is fine. Let me check the parameters. Parameters are okay. Node equals to node model. Yes, I have created. Yes, this is my node model. Where is my node model? Node is node model, which is coming from here. Then this from base model. This is input name. Right, connection is here. I'm searching name with input name, and then I'll be going to search this with the name and employee ID, and after that I'm returning input name. If this input name is actually coming from this input name, right? All right, then this name is coming from node of name, right? Perfectly all right. And this employee node is coming from this thing. This employee name is, this employee ID is here, and this name is here. So there should not be any error, but let me check where actually I got this error. Internal, okay, input name equals to Rahul Kumar Roy. Perfectly all right. Input name, and I'm passing this thing from the body as well, and still it is saying that some error. That is strange actually. Localhost update input name equals to this Rahul Kumar Roy name. Okay, I didn't did a mistake actually. I passed this thing here, input name required. In the request body I passed this thing. Okay, maybe I don't know. Let me think. Still not able to understand why this error is coming. Node is node model. I'm calling this node as node model, and this node model is coming from here, which is this one. Error. New message expected parameters input name and employee ID. Session query is getting executed here. Okay, executed expected parameter input name, right? Name is here, employee ID is here. Okay. Oh, I did a very bad mistake over here. If you guys carefully notice, I passed this query. I have told that I'm using this thing, but here actually I forgot to mention this thing. This is my bad. Extremely sorry, guys. This is a very silly mistake I'm doing. Because when you are running this query, you have to pass this thing. So that is what, like, I should have found this thing when I saw this error. Actually, I was thinking that from the API side there is some error, but actually I told that whenever you are using this thing, you have to create some sort of dictionary and you have to pass this thing. So it's a very bad mistake I did. Okay, so let me execute this thing. Okay, so your input name is not found in the graph. Now it is saying that your input name is not found in the graph. So Rahul Kumar Roy is not found in the graph, so that is another thing we need to find out. Rahul Kumar Roy is there. Let me check why this is not found in the graph. Okay, so I don't know. Rahul Kumar Roy is here. Okay, input name Rahul Kumar Roy, name Rahul Kumar Roy, but it is saying your input name is not found in the graph. So that is what I don't know again. So that is another thing. Let me check whether I am doing correctly or not. So n.name is $name, input name, this input name is coming from here actually. Okay, what happened here now? That is also strange. EMPLOYEE, maybe just hold on, maybe I did some mistake on the spelling. EMPLOYEE, employee name, EMPLOYEE. Let me check whether I did this correctly or not. Yes, this is employee only, but okay, let's execute one more time. Okay, this is Rahul Kumar Roy, request body is this. Let me execute this thing. Okay, maybe I can write input name, try it out. Input name is this, string of, maybe I can change this to Rahul Roy, and maybe employee ID 29999. Okay, let's execute this thing. It's being executed. Your input name is not found in the graph. That is very strange. Okay, localhost update input name. So it is saying that it is not able to find that. Okay, why such things are happening, we need to check actually. So what I'll do, I'll just take this thing from here. Okay, and let me update the input name here. We'll be able to understand what is happening. So maybe I can just copy this thing from here. Okay, okay, it is saying, okay, so definitely there is some extra space. Maybe if I go to the table, yes, see, so that is why, or that is how you should debug the issue. So see, by mistake someone put, or maybe I put some extra space in the name, so that is why it is not coming. Okay, so that is a very bad mistake. So okay, so now we figure out the problem. So we'll execute this thing one more time. So like this, okay, and execute. So node updated with Rahul Roy. So our corner case also worked fine, because when we search with the wrong name, it should return that thing. Okay, so now if I execute this thing, see, Rahul Roy updated and we updated this name. So now we'll search with another thing. Okay, maybe I can write with Ronnie. execute. So okay, for Ronnie also name has been updated with this thing. Okay, so let me search this thing. So both are same now. Okay, so guys, actually I did this thing, this spelling mistake thing intentionally, just to make you guys understand that if your name is not correct, and that time if you are not able to find something and you are getting some like odd error from your code, and how to debug that. Okay, so you have to do a reverse engineering. So this is small reverse engineering, but this is how it is. So when someone is started working in the support role or any sort of data related issues, whether you're from your backend engineering team, or maybe from your API or UI team, or maybe the end user can complain that I updated this thing, but this is not available in the graph. So that time probably someone did some silly mistake and you are not able to find out what is exactly, because you won't think that that name is not available, because you can see like from your bare eyes that Rahul Kumar Roy is available. So, and it's not possible to see whether it has any space or not. Okay, so then you have to go to this table structure, and from there actually be able to see the data. Okay, so hope you guys understand the concept, that is actually the main part. So what I'll do, let me just take a screenshot of this thing, maybe that will be easier. Okay, what I'm doing, I'm just trying to put this thing into the slide. So let me open the slide and I'll put it over here. So from file, maybe I think the last one, yes. Okay, so maybe I think this one is looks good. Okay, so that's it guys, that's it for today. So in tutorial 105 we have seen how you can search. In the last tutorial we have seen something with the post method. Now you did something on update using the update method, and here actually use some query parameter. Okay, so similar thing can be possible as well from the curl. So similar thing can be possible from curl as well, as I said. So you guys can try it out. Okay, so that's it guys, that's it for today. We'll see you in the next video. Okay, but before that, just do let me know have some sort of feedback, whether these videos are actually making any sense, or I should create some other use cases, or I should go like this very slowly with very basic or fundamental components or operations from Neo4j. I think that will be easier for all of you guys to understand. But again, if you guys have any other use case or something complex or intermediate, please let me know. I'll try to incorporate all those things in the existing tutorial as well, and that will be definitely will make some sense for all of you, because ultimately you guys are going to work for some organization, company or client. So handling real world use case is our actual objective or goal. So probably that will be easier. But last but not least, try to do some sort of practice after watching my videos. If you just watch my videos and after that don't do anything, it will not make your life easier. Okay, so try to do some sort of practice, try to write some code, try to understand, try to create some use case on your mind. After that, try to implement all those things, and that will actually give you some sort of confidence, and as well as you will get the motivation to learn something extra beyond whatever I actually teaching or showing in the video. Okay, and while doing that, if you guys are facing any issues, definitely always one click away from your WhatsApp. So just do let me know. Okay, so enough of talking guys, that's it for today. We'll see you in the next video. Till then, take care, goodbye, and have a nice day and have a nice weekend.